Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Tuesday. Glad you're up with us at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Nettie Rampor. Yes, thanks for being with us. We're going to dive into what the shells are going to do for us.
It's literally diving into the waters for this story here.
Yeah, from oysters to then creating, just a better water quality. So those details will be coming.
All right, good.
Let's also talk about your forecast.
Water in the sky, potentially?
Yeah, exactly. Right now we are looking at the clouds, but check it out. As I zoom out, you'll see that's green. Yes, that's actual rain coming through. It is inching its way to San Diego right now. So you'll see it probably get here in the next hour, I would say. It has been working its way through, Palos Verdes into Long Beach, now Huntington Beach. So it's getting closer and closer into Laguna Niguel, San Clemente. We'll see it into Camp Pendleton here by, I would say, about 7 a.m. It'll start to work its way closer into Oceanside. A quick check of traffic. There's one area where you see the yellow. That's where that road weather index is in the yellow, showing just hazards because of possibly some fog, low-lying clouds. We also have this incident on the the Valley Center Road at Lake Wolford Road. It doesn't look like that's going to mess with your commute much. And then this one here in Lemon Grove on the 94. I'll get into those details coming up in a few minutes.
Well, this morning, 19 states have detected cases of the Omicron variant of COVID-19, and Texas is the latest. Meantime, Los Angeles has confirmed its third case of the Omicron variant. No cases have been confirmed here in San Diego yet. Early data shows the Omicron variant produces mild symptoms at worst. In fact, it's believed the Delta variant is driving a new wave of COVID cases. New York City is now the first city in the country to force private businesses to require their employees to get vaccinated starting December 27th.
A woman who went missing here in town for weeks is now opening up to News 8 about what she went through.
Letitia Norris is safe this morning. The search for Norris and her boyfriend made national headlines, and News 8's Evan Ronnie is live outside San Diego Police headquarters with a closer look at this case. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. That 4-week search for Letitia and her boyfriend came to an end just a few blocks away from here at the downtown San Diego Library. Now, for weeks, it was a national search that her parents had launched to find her, fearing that the worst could have happened, that there could have been a domestic violence incident, that she could have been killed in some way. And her mother even flew out to San Diego, where they believe she was, to try and find her. But just a few days ago on Friday, they were able to find her and her boyfriend alive and well, but choosing to live on the streets when they moved here in to San Diego. We spoke with her parents, we spoke with Letitia and her boyfriend. Take a listen to what they all had to say.
I am eternally grateful that my mother has the strength and the care and compassion and love for me to come and look for me when she hasn't heard from her daughter in a month.
I'm grateful for everyone who's happy that this didn't end in a tragedy, because you're the people that matter. You're the good-hearted people, and I thank you so much.
Now, the reason that Norris and Smith didn't call home for 4 weeks was because they were homeless. The boyfriend says that was their plan all along, to live on the streets. Norris finally sent her mom a text message on the evening of December 3rd using a borrowed cell phone. Prior to this, Norris's family had launched that search for their daughter and for Smith, fearing that Letitia could be in danger because of the couple's history of domestic violence. The young couple says they now plan to fly back to Indiana. A relative has offered Smith a job in construction. Norris's mother raised $7,200 on a GoFundMe to go find her daughter. She now says that money will be given to Letitia and her boyfriend for anything that they need. And this has caused a critical response on social media, with some accusing that family of doing this for reasons to get money. But her mother has updated that GoFundMe. She says they're no longer asking for additional funds. She says that the money that was raised to help find her daughter, and they found her daughter, and that money will still be given to Letitia to help get her on her feet. And she says that the people who are criticizing her on social media are simply doing so because they were hoping for a more tragic response. And that's why you kind of hear in that sound what she talks about in terms of the people who are happy for her and her family. If you want to hear that full interview, News 8 had about a 15-minute interview with that family. You can go onto our website, cbs8.com, for more. I'll send things back to you in the studio.
Evan, thanks so much for that update. And now we are learning that a Camp Pendleton Marine who stopped to help a couple on the freeway was killed in a crash near the base. The man he originally stopped to help is being held on suspicion of DUI. This all happened on Interstate 5 near Las Pulgas Road. It was yesterday morning. We brought it to you as breaking news because of all the backup. And now we have these new details, really heartbreaking. CHP says the Marine stopped to help a couple who crashed into the center divide when all three of them were then hit by a box gas truck. The Marine who was trying to help died at the scene. The two people he was trying to help have serious injuries. The man will be booked into jail after he is released from the hospital. A mother and son have been identified as the victims of a homicide in Imperial Beach. Authorities say 55-year-old Raquel Pitzenberger and 35-year-old Tony Valadez were shot and killed on Saturday. Deputies found them inside a home on Fern Avenue, and investigators believe the victims knew the shooter, who's still at large.
Short-term vacation rentals could be up for a vote in Chula Vista later today. It would set time limits for hosts to rent out homes, as well as add enforcement staffing. The city originally planned to vote on the proposal last month, but they needed more time to review the plan. The Chula Vista City Council meeting starts at 5 p.m. Well, today is a date that will live in infamy. On this day, 80 years ago, Japanese planes attacked the U.S. base at Pearl Harbor. It led to America's involvement in World War II.
News 8's Chris Groves joining us live outside the USS Midway Museum to show us how San Diegans will be honoring our heroes. Good morning to you, Chris.
Good morning, Eric and Netta. And of course, San Diego, a true military town, wanting to respect those who serve and those who did serve before those currently serving. And that is what today is all about, remembering those who gave their all during that day on Pearl Harbor and also went on to survive and serve in World War II. So again, this will be quite the ceremony we'll be seeing today. So here on the USS Midway Museum here in San Diego, we'll be seeing a number of things starting this morning around 9 a.m. There will be, of course, a two-bell ceremony, a wreath-laying ceremony where the playing of taps will take place. We'll see some Pearl Harbor survivor families as well as some Navy sailors and veterans that will be joining in during this commemoration. And then, of course, a ceremonial missing man flyover. Now, of course, on this day, 80 years ago, more than 2,400 servicemen and civilians were killed. 21 ships were sunk or gravely damaged, and more than 300 planes were destroyed during this attack on Pearl Harbor. The U.S. declared war on Japan the very next day. Now, fast forward to today, 80 years later, there will be 30 survivors, just 30 survivors who will be in Hawaii to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the attack. One of them, David Russell, was 21 years old on that day in 1941. He was stationed aboard the USS Oklahoma as it began to sink. He hoisted himself onto the nearby USS Maryland and was then able to fight back against the incoming Japanese planes. CBS News spoke with Mr. Russell, and this was a little bit of their conversation. Take a listen.
By the time I get topside, the ship was almost ready to capsize. I had someone give me a few instructions on how to handle ammunition, so I passed ammunition during the Pearl Harbor attack.
It means so much, especially at the last years of my life. It's just so important.
And then, of course, that ceremony today here at the USS Midway Museum will be taking place at 9 a.m. We'll have full coverage as it moves forward. Eric and Netta.
All right, let's hope the weather cooperates for some of those celebrations and remembrances that are going to be happening around the county here, Netta.
Yeah, I can tell you, the timing of this rain, of course we need it, but it's not ideal. As Chris mentioned, the ceremony starting at 9 a.m. and that unfortunately is looking like the timing exactly when the rain will get to downtown San Diego. From now until then, you might see some light showers, and then the actual line of rain that's expected to come through will be between about 9 and 10. So please take an umbrella with you and, jackets with hoodies, all of that hopefully will help protect a lot of people who will be out there. It's still, of course, an important ceremony to be had, and hopefully the rain won't stop people from coming, but just do it safely. Don't rush through the rain as it gets to San Diego, because we know what happens on the roads once we start to see a little bit of that moisture. So here's where the rain is. This is that line I was referring to. It literally is a line coming right through LA right now, and you're seeing it get a little bit closer to us. It's moving right through Huntington Beach into Laguna Niguel, and Camp Pendleton obviously will be first in line as it gets to Oceanside. So here it is, and there's a bit of moisture just over the water at this moment, but by 7:30 or so, it'll get closer into Oceanside. North County, you'll start to see the lines coming through. And then this is really that timing, the 9 to 10:30 or so, when the brunt of this will hit downtown San Diego. And then by 10:30, most of it should move towards the South Bay. And then by 1 o'clock, it's gone. So it really is an early morning event through about noon. By this afternoon, just a few little spritzes here and there. That's all we're going going to get. The amount of rain, because it's so fast moving, we may see just 1/10 of an inch from Del Mar into Chula Vista. Right now, we're waking up to clouds. Visibility not too bad in most spots. In fact, our Mount Soledad view, you can actually see downtown. It's 59 degrees downtown San Diego right now, 56 in Poway, 50 in Ramona. Our temperatures are a lot warmer than 24 hours ago right now. But what you're feeling out there at this moment, it's not going to get that much hotter for this afternoon. We're not going to see much of a warm up at all. Here's a check of traffic now, and I do want to show you one area where there is this yellow right here, and that indicates fog in that spot. I didn't see it on our visibility map, but it's something that may just be impacting Julian. If you're headed into the mountains at all, the 78, the 79, you may run into some of that patchy fog. The clouds are sitting possibly right at that elevation. Oh, this just got cleared. It was on the 94 westbound at Federal Boulevard. So glad to see that icon is now gone. But yeah, we'll continue to monitor your roads this morning here coming up in just a few minutes, and of course that rainfall. Aaron.